Yeah, well, welcome. Welcome everyone to, like I said, our Supremely You. I am so privileged today to have Tyler Duncan, and I want him to introduce himself. Not that everybody knows you, doesn't know you. I think I'm frozen. Can you hear me, Tyler?
Yep, I've got you.
Okay. I've got a little bit of an internet issue going on. I don't know why at my house in, Denver, which we should be just fine. I'm coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And question two, if you want to throw in where you're coming from, but Tyler, would you introduce yourself, where you're located? And I'll keep kind of just powering questions at you as we go along. So where are you located first?
So right now I am out in North Carolina. So I have a branch out here in Wilmington, if anybody knows where that is, right by Carolina Beach, Wrightsville Beach, things like that. So that's where I'm coming from right now. And I was just telling Sarah before we got started that it is tourist season right now. So all it is people walking around with their margaritas and swimsuits and beach chairs. So it's tough to not want to go to the beach.
My daughter just came back from Wilmington and she said it's absolutely beautiful there. Beautiful. Because you were from Denver.
Yeah, so I guess I'm originally from Chicago. I'm a Chicago suburbs person. So, but then I lived in Denver for over 20 years and started my career in lending in Denver for quite a while. So
When did you move to Wilmington?
we moved here in 2022, I believe, summer of 22. So yeah, it's been 3 years.
Okay, that's a big risk and that's a big jump, right? Because you were primarily doing your business from Denver, people from
Yeah, yeah. So it's a
Denver,
big deal.
referrals from.
Just for the simple, I mean, I've always been lucky enough that I've had multiple licenses. A lot of people don't may or may not know that about me. I'm licensed in 21 states, I think. So, and that was just because I got into the business during the housing crisis. So, that's kind of how that was. But yeah, so it was a big deal. It's kind of like starting over, but not starting over. I talked to most of my referral partners in Colorado, and none of them said they cared that I was leaving.
Yeah.
But I also, by coming out here, wasn't gaining any new referral partners. So I literally had to start over from scratch here in North Carolina. And yeah, it's definitely been a
Hold
journey.
on that thought. Hold on that thought. We're going to come back to that. This is one of my
Yeah.
big questions for you, Tyler. Uh, Tell everybody how long you've been at Supreme.
So I've been with Supreme coming up on 11 years. If you don't want to count my little 5 month hiatus that I had, where
Oh, you're a
I was
comeback kid. You're a
I am,
comeback
yeah.
kid.
So I was with Supreme for 9.5 years and had an opportunity come up that I thought was what my family and I needed to do. And after 5 months away, realized that is not what my family and I needed to do. And so my family and I have been back with Supreme since coming up on a year now. In August, it'll be a year. So technically, I've been here almost 11 years now.
Well, we're not going to count that little mistake, that little
Yeah,
five
right.
month
It was
mistake.
only 5 months. It's okay. I did
Yeah.
actually didn't even miss a sales rally because it was after sales rally, but before the other one. So I didn't miss sales rally or president's club. So it was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go back to the starting over in a brand new location. And I think everybody kind of realized after COVID, you could go remote much easier than maybe before COVID, right?
Yes.
And thank you, Ms. Kathy, for raising your hand. But also, if you have a question, throw it in the chat. Morgan and Amy, I'm going to let you man the chat while we're talking, and then we'll come to questions at the very end. But I want to go back to what you said. I started over. And before you jump into the answer to my question, I love to pose this to loan officers, and I want you to think about this. If you had to start over in a brand new location, and don't get all caught up in, the detail of that, get caught up in what would I do if I was starting all over again because you did it, Tyler. You started all over. And I love the license thing, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But share with everybody like how you started over, what you did, not knowing because you didn't know anybody in Wilmington.
No, I had one real estate agent that I knew, and he was the one who had helped us buy our beach house out here before we moved out here. And that's kind of I guess I'll backtrack to that. How we ended up here was, like you said, COVID. Our daughter wasn't able to go to school anymore. My wife, a lot of people here know it does marketing for my team and for Supreme and did for our whole region at one point. So we could work from wherever. and we had a beach house in North Carolina that we would just go to because anybody who knows Colorado was shut down. Like Colorado was shut down. You weren't doing
Shut
anything.
down.
North
Yeah,
Carolina, you wasn't as fun as Florida, but you could still do a lot in North Carolina and go to the beach and everything. So we spent a ton of time at our beach house, and then we just realized after doing that for a couple of years that we really liked North Carolina more than we liked how Colorado was turning out, I guess you would say, with the
yeah.
different changes.
Oh, yeah.
Our daughter's school had a ton of issues. I won't get too far into that, but our daughter's school went from an 8 out of a 10 to a 2 out of a 10 after COVID due to some Section 8 housing influences that came into our area. And we just said, you know what? Maybe we need to do something different. And our daughter said, if you get me to the beach before I go to high school, I'm in. And so
Oh,
we made it
wow.
happen.
Okay. Okay. You're like, hurry. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so that she was a seventh grader at that point. So we got her out here to start her eighth grade year. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you had one real estate agent, you had your database with your past clients, you had your 22 licenses, but talk to everybody about how you started out in Wilmington and how you began to get business from referral partners there.
It was actually way harder than I thought. I'm gonna just say this that I've been doing this for 17 years now. I've been with Supreme for going on 11 years. So it's been a long time since I had to do that full on like holy cow, I don't know anybody type of thing. So I essentially just started looking up every networking event that existed in the town and would just go to every networking event that I could find. And some of them were a complete waste of my time, but I just needed to get my name and my face out there.
Yeah.
My
How big
wife who
is
does
how big
what?
is it?
How big is Wilmington?
Yeah, like the
Uh,
population.
it's about 180,000.
Okay, so
So
I
nowhere
mean,
near the millions I had in Denver.
right, right. I also wanted people to recognize you were going from this huge, vast, city and all the surrounding bedroom communities
Yeah.
to Wilmington, because it's a little bit more isolated, right?
Yeah, because the nearest big city is Raleigh, which is 2 hours away, and Charlotte is 3.5 hours away, and Myrtle Beach is an hour and a half away. So there's no big cities here. It's
Yeah.
just beach communities.
So networking events, you started, everybody heard that. If you're looking for ways to break in and get more business, networking events, what worked? What worked with that, Tyler?
You know, it was just getting out and getting my face around and meeting people. I joined a BNI group. There's mixed feelings that people have towards BNI. I totally understand because it's kind of like a cult commitment, but I needed to meet people and I had gotten a good name for myself. So I joined a BNI group, which has been great because I met a ton of people in there. And then essentially just calling realtors. Literally, I just call realtors, I email realtors, I send things to realtors. My wife goes and does drop bys for me when she has free time. We try to do that at least once a month for some offices that we've targeted as our go-tos that we want to get. Doing broker open houses, I've found has been my best thing by far. We just signed up to do a broker open house next Thursday. My probably I would say best office that I've gotten in with was by doing a broker open house.
So talk about, okay, so I want to deep dive a little bit for everybody on this. So you started with all the networking events, you joined a BNI group, you started doing pop buys, your wife helping you with pop
Yep.
buys. How many, when you look back, again, I know we're dissecting this for people, but I don't know if anybody, I want to do a plug for our lending lounge. But if you look at Wednesday today, I talked about tracking your stats. Like you have to track what you're doing so you know what your
Yep.
results are. And if you don't track it, you have no idea what's coming out of it and where you're most effective, right? So when you look back at that time, how many realtors were you calling on a day? And was it phone calls? Were you going out trying to meet them? I would imagine Wilmington might be a little bit more in office than some, maybe Denver. It's
Yeah.
really hard to get agents in office in Denver, the bigger metro
Yeah.
areas. Maybe speak to that.
The one thing that I've learned out here very quickly is that yes, it's 180,000 people, so it's not a small town, but everybody might not know everybody, but everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. So anywhere that I go, if I meet a realtor, a loan officer, an insurance agent, whatever, they all know everybody else. Like all the major loan officers here in town, we all know each other. Like I'll go out to lunch with them, I'll go to meetings with them. I mean, I've tried to get some of them to come work with us. So it's very much like that little small town, boys town
Yeah.
group where everybody knows each other. So
Yeah.
I think that helped because you get your name recognition very quickly. If you have a good name for yourself, you can get that name recognition way quicker than if you're in like say New York City or Denver or Chicago where there's 5, 7,
Yeah.
8 million people where you're just another drop in the bucket.
Right.
You can
Right.
get that name recognition a little bit better and a little bit quicker. But I had a checklist on my desk every day, and anybody who knows me knows I'm extremely organized. If you walk into my office, it looks like I quit because there's nothing anywhere. I have my backpack, and that's my office. Is I literally just carry my backpack around,
You're
and
like, thing I
yeah,
own is right here in this little bag.
yep. Oh yeah, that's all I have. Like if you walk in my office, it looks like I quit because there's nothing here. So all I have is a notebook that I keep notes on all day with what I've got to do that day and what I'm doing that day. And I made it when I got here that I needed to call 10 realtors a day,
And
and I needed,
on, did everybody hear Tyler?
yep,
10 realtors a day.
and I needed to call 10 past customers a day to touch
Okay.
base with them. And I've always been extremely good. Like if you look at my numbers, I'm very good at repeat and referral business. I That's probably my number one source is repeat and referral. And then realtors is number two. But I made it a checklist. I had to call 10 realtors a day before I could go home, and I had to call 10 past customers a day before I could go home just to touch base and say hi.
So good. That's so good. And I question for people listening, like if you're being honest, are you tracking and are you calling at least 5 to 10 realtors a day? Throw it in the chat if you want to be honest here and just share. Sometimes it's good to say, no, Sarah, I'm not, but I need to. And then are you calling your past clients? If
Your
you're up
past
for
clients are the best people in the world. I tell everybody your past
right?
customers are people who trusted you and they trusted you
Yes.
enough to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with you. So if you just
Yeah.
stay in touch with them, they will continue to trust you and they will continue to refer people to you. Way better
Yes.
than any realtors.
Yeah, what's your past client account for on your yearly volume, Tyler, when you look back?
I'd have to dig into that, but I would say it's probably more than 50% is
Yeah,
repeat. And then people
yeah,
referring their kids or their grandkids or their family
yeah.
members and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, would you share with everybody too, when you look back, I want to talk about numbers for a second. When you came to Wilmington, prior to Wilmington, obviously, you know, Scott calls it the fake years, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
COVID years. But what happened with your volume when you got to Wilmington that year? I know the mistake, the 5 month mistake, and then coming back to Supreme and then kind of just track for us where the volume is gone, going from Denver, where you had a ton of connections, to a brand new community.
So I was essentially every year of my career, I went fully private in 2012. So every year of my career, my business went up. Of course, then 2020, 2021, then 2022 hit and the faucet kind of turned off. So those couple fake years ended and my business went, and I moved at the same time. My daughter was starting a new school. The one thing when you have 21 licenses that you don't realize as well is when you start your own branch and move, you can't just start originating loans in those states. You have to
Yeah.
get licensed. You have to have a branch. You have to have a branch address. You have to have licenses, and certain licenses won't approve your license until other things are approved. So, like, I couldn't do loans in North Carolina for like 3 months after we moved here. So I was sending loans to other loan officers to put into my name because I couldn't close them in certain states because I wasn't allowed to originate while I was like kind of stuck in limbo when you have that many licenses. So I literally sat on the phone with people trying to figure out how to, at corporate, Kevin Pisani, one of them, like, hey, I need a couple of these licenses. And he was on the phone with me trying to figure out how to get licensing to get through to get some of these. So that's always something you don't think about.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so jumping back in on that, my production went down still in 2022 because I had to send a bunch of loans to different people. My regional manager at the time brought me to President's Club as one of his captain's picks because I had sent business all over that there was nothing in my name.
Yeah.
So thankfully he saw that and brought me as his captain's pick. But then right back 2023 made President's Club again, 2024 made President's Club again, and right now we'll see what happens. We're halfway through the year and I'm over halfway there, so we'll see how it goes.
Good, 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 good. So it
Yeah.
just kind of gives everybody an idea where you're at. What do you do now to from pop buys? So your wife, what does she drop off? Give everybody an idea, kind of. I'm sure it changes month to month and you do different things all the time, but I love pop buys. I think it's way underdone. And I think when
Yes.
people do it, it is a massive impact for realtors and for referral partners.
So I will say when we left, the company we went to, and I'll just give a little preface. The reason that I went is because the company I went to has a ASA MSA with the number one real estate company in all of Wilmington, by
Wow.
far the largest. So they offered me an office in their number one office, and I had access to every real estate agent in that office as the only person there. Something I really couldn't turn down at the time. I just thought it was a
Sure.
great opportunity, and it turned out to be pretty good because I made some partners out of it that I got to take
Yeah,
after I
yeah.
left. But the company we went
Kept them
to,
with you, come with me.
yeah,
Yeah.
the company we went to, because my wife came with me and did marketing for them, is we learned a lot. That company did a large amount of marketing, pop buys, mailers, just
Yeah.
tons of stuff. And so she worked on their corporate marketing side and picked up a lot of really cool pop buy options.
Oh, cool.
So I have like three loan officers on my team, and she puts those together for all of us. Like this next one we're going, and she's on this call. She can type something in the box if you need to, but she is doing like sparklers, and then a drop by with some sparklers. Like, and she has her catchy saying, so she's way better at that stuff than I am, and then I just go show up when I'm supposed to.
So you
She's
just drop,
creative. I'm not. I'm good at
but she
calling and
designs a theme. It sounds like there's a theme for
yes,
whatever you're focused on for that. And
yep.
do you do a pop by every month for your list of referral partners?
Yeah, so we've narrowed it down to a couple offices that we like the most. At first, I think we were doing way too many offices, and then you're realizing that they're not there, and then you're just leaving stuff hanging on their doorknob, and then you're wasting your time. You're driving around in circles, and we narrowed it down to I think about four offices right now that I know we get business from, and I know we can continue to get business from, and so I want to stay in front of those offices. I'm not opposed to doing more, but I just know those four offices make me money right now, and I need to keep getting in front of all the agents that I'm in those offices.
Yeah, for sure. I see Sally Jane on here, and we for sure can put together a list of different pop by ideas for you guys that you can take and there's nothing new under the sun. You can just pirate like you said, Tyler, my wife probably learned it from the company. Everybody's kind of pirating off each other and you do different
Yeah, they
things,
had some
right?
great ideas, like where you would come up with like a snazzy little quote or something like about you or your team or Supreme, and then you drop off something that's connected to it, and you're with your business cards attached to it. So like the one time we did like the bug spray bracelets that you can wear like for bug season,
Yeah.
like don't let something bug you, I think was our or whatever. And you just do different things like suckers or candies or I don't know, try to make it funny. And the realtors they like it. Like the one office tags us on Instagram every time we do a drop by and they say, look what the Duncans brought by.
Oh, so I love it. So Morgan just noted, we'll put it in the lending lounge and then everybody can share what they're doing because we all learn from each other. And I love that, Cassandra. You keep it, that's really inexpensive. So it's nothing
Yeah, we
that's
don't spend too
too
much. Just
expensive.
something to keep your name in front of people and something creative with some little tchotchke attached to it that, you know. Um, and then the other thing that I did a lot of is I use Usherpa a lot. And I pay for Usherpa for everybody on my team. I love that as a tool. And you don't realize how many people are actually reading your emails and opening your things until we were at a broker open house, and the one agent, she's the broker in charge, she goes, hey Tyler, this is so and so, can you get her added to your emails? I love your emails. And I'm like, you have never responded to me once on any of my emails. Like I
Isn't
don't need.
that funny?
Yeah, and so now every time she hires a new realtor, they text me and say, can you set me up on your emails with Usherpa? Not Usherpa, but can you set me up on these emails? So I just get them set up on there, and it's been, yeah, um
I think the
it's
simplest things that people do sometimes have one of the biggest impacts. And I'll use this as my own example. As you guys, many of you have seen the Supreme Morning, you can take that and you can personalize it for yourself. If you want to put your name at the top of it, whatever you want to do with that, and you send it out to your entire database, your entire list of referral partners. I've heard people over and over tell me I get deals just because I send out your daily quote. So it's doesn't cost you a thing, right? And it's so
No,
simple, but it's the consistency, right, Tyler? It's the consistency of doing it.
I will say my number one best attribute, as I guess you would say as a loan officer, is consistency. If
Yeah,
you talk to any supervisors I've ever had, I guarantee I'm the most consistent employee. And if they say I'm not, they're lying because I know that my organization skills and my consistency are unmatched. Just because I know if you keep doing things, no matter how bad or how good they are, they're going to keep leading to things. What you believe is
right.
true. That's one of my favorite quotes. You can ask my team. I sent it to them this morning. What you believe is true. That's
Isn't,
exactly what I believe.
yeah, I love that. I'm going to use that quote, Tyler.
Yeah, whether you believe we're going to go bankrupt or you believe that you're going to be a millionaire is true. Pick which one you want to go with.
That's right. So pick the one you want to go with it, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you believe it, and your actions start following behind what you believe. So if you
yeah.
tell yourself, what else are you doing that you want to point out for people that obviously your consistency, the Popeyes, your team, your wife, I love it. I'm like June sparkling fast closings, like fireworks on the 4th. We move fast. Love
Yeah,
it.
see, she's smarter and more creative than me. So yeah, it's the old rule. If you know somebody's better than you at something, you let them take care of it. So, yeah. But as far as stuff that I'm doing, that's literally all I do is phone calls, drop bys, making sure that I'm out, trying to have coffee, trying to have lunch. Like I actually had a coaching call with one of the loan officers on my team yesterday, and she asked me, when you first got started in the business, what did you do? What was it that you did? And I said I made 100 phone calls a day. I was
Yep.
not allowed to go home until I made 100 phone calls. And people will say, "Oh wow, like that's crazy." I'm like, "No, it's not crazy." Because
Mhm.
the statistics don't lie. Math doesn't lie. If you call 100 people, the statistics say that 4 of those people will be responsive to you. 2 of those people will choose to do business with you, and 1 of them will probably close. So the math was just in my head that I knew that if I could call 100 people a day, that I would have 4 opportunities that day to do an application or meet a realtor or something along those lines. And then of those opportunities, 2 of them I had a chance to close. And of those 2, 1 of those was going to close if I did my job right. So if you do that every day, that's
Did you
1 a
do that,
day.
Taylor? How long did you do that for?
I want to say first couple of years of my career.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that is such a great takeaway for everybody on this call that if you are struggling to do business, if you just adopted exactly what Tyler said and you called 100 people a day, how did you find those 100 people a day? Because that's going to be the other question.
So
How'd
that
you
was the other
find?
question. So I got started on the private sector in 2012. So right during the housing crisis. So the company that I was working for at the time doesn't exist anymore, but they bought a lot of like lending tree leads,
Sure.
yeah, different like bills.com leads, educator leads. So what I did was I would try to do half realtors. So I would go, and this was years ago, Facebook wasn't even a thing. So I was going, and Google wasn't even really a thing. So I was going on LinkedIn and searching for realtors in my area and then taking down their name and number and then messaging them on LinkedIn and then calling them afterwards to try to set up
Yeah.
meetings. And then the rest were like leads through company provided leads that I would just call through. Yeah, just made it that was I had a little checklist next to me and made sure it was 100 a day.
I am just encouraging everybody just to even even if you were just doing like the 10 realtors a day, 10 past clients a day, 10 realtors a day, 10 past clients a day, you cannot believe what would happen. Going back to the consistency, when you see, because you've got loan officers that work for you, where do
Mhm.
you see them missing? Like because you're coaching them, you're helping them. Where are their gaps and what do you tell them to do? Tyler,
I would
obviously,
say the 2 biggest things are consistency and work ethic. I can guarantee you that if you have a plan every single day and you call 100 people a day and you do that every day, and there's no negotiation with your husband or your wife or your kids. There's work time, there's family time, there's play time, there's drinking time, there's whatever time you need. You have to make time for
Especially
all
in
those.
Wilmington, apparently.
Yes, you know, like I have my gym time. I go to the gym. I try to go to the gym every morning. That's a non-negotiable that I try to do every single morning. And it's just a non-negotiable. Like I've told myself, I get up early enough to do it before my daughter wakes up because I know if she wakes up, I'm not going to do it. So that way I can make sure that everything's going. So just those non-negotiables in life, that this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it because I know it's going to work. And the whole thing is consistency.
Yes.
Again, numbers don't lie. If you consistently do something that you know works, it's gonna work. It might just take some time.
There's this component for every successful loan officer that I have observed, and I'm one of them. Like I've told people, I originated hardcore. You and I, Tyler, talked about it, and I'm not as smart as you know the loan officer population, but I will outwork you and I will consistently outperform every single day. And you do that too, Tyler. And it's this obsessive neuroses that
Yeah,
loan officers they have an obsessive fanatical approach to the business that no matter what, I have to do this today. And that's where I see loan officers missing it, is they come up with, to your point, every single excuse, and they don't honor their commitments to themselves from the business perspective. They want to do the business, but they're not willing to be obsessively compulsive about their schedule. And you can set it up with your family. I mean, I'm sure Cassandra knows that your children know, like I have to do, when you were making those 100 phone calls, did you set it up with her ahead of time to say, I have to do this? I have to for our family.
yeah. She's just known. We've been together since college, so she's known me since I had $0 to my name until like doing loans. So we've been together a long time now. So she just knew that my work ethic is what it is, and I'm going to do what I have to do. And I have my background blurred, but this poster, if you could see it right here, is my favorite basketball player of all time. It's actually Michael Jordan. It's one of my favorite sayings that sits above my desk in my office. Some people want it to happen, some people wish it would happen, and some people make it happen. It's one of my all-time favorite quotes. There's so many people that say, oh yeah, I could be a millionaire. Great, go ahead and do it, show me. That's right, you don't want
Right.
to.
Right. And I love your matter of fact approach to it, because
Yep,
it's like it's like truth, it's in your face, this is what's happening. Well,
yep.
we're coming up to this flew by.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hold on, tell everybody a little bit about you personally. So you've been married to Cassandra for how many years?
It'll be 19 years this in August.
Okay, what date in August? Cassandra, we're making sure he knows.
August 5th.
Good
I
job.
Yeah, putting me on the spot there. Yeah, yeah.
Good
No, I
job.
mean, if
How
anybody,
many
yeah.
kids?
So a little bit
Yeah.
about me. Born and raised in the Chicago suburbs. I am a massive Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears fan. Cubs are finally good this year after how many years? I was actually at Game 7. For those of you who know Dale Petrillo, he was my old regional manager. Dale and I went to Game 7 of that World Series together, so that was a lot of fun.
Gosh. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, but after high school, I moved to Colorado to go to college with three friends. Didn't know what we were going to do. Didn't know if I was going to stay in Colorado. All I know is my buddy's older sister was going to CU Boulder and told us we should come out and hang out. So we moved to Colorado. I went to University of Northern Colorado because I thought I wanted to be a high school teacher.
Oh,
And
wow.
University of Northern Colorado was used to be known as the Colorado State Teachers College. It's one of the top teaching
Yeah,
schools in the country.
yeah.
But if anybody knows where it is, it's in Greeley, Colorado. Nobody wants to live there. So I lived in Fort
That's
Collins,
where my
Colorado.
husband's from. Hold on. That's where born and raised, second generation
Yeah,
Greeley.
yeah. So I didn't want to live there, so I lived in Fort Collins and drove to Greeley every day because my friends went to CSU. Met my wife in math class of all things. Got married, had our daughter who is 16. She just started driving, so now I have a third car payment. That's super fun. Um, yeah, so
What's
lots of
one
fun
thing as
there.
we wrap up? What's one thing nobody would ever guess about you?
I'm covered in tattoos. A lot of people don't know that about me. Yeah, I just have them business professional, so I can go anywhere nobody doesn't know and nobody knows I have them. But yeah,
You have bet $1,000 that Tyler didn't have a tattoo.
yeah,
I would
no,
have bet.
yeah, I've got them. Yeah, I've got them everywhere. Yeah, I guess not everywhere, but yeah.
like the most untattooed person I've ever met. That just blows me away. Well, I still like you, even though you're
Okay,
a
that's good.
Cub fan. I'm a Mets fan. I have to be.
Yep.
But we'll see. What's your kind of your thinking on the Cubs this year?
They need some starting pitching. Their bullpen's pretty good, and their offense is the best offensive in baseball right now. But their starting pitching, their ace got injured in like the second game of the year. So we've got a fourth and fifth starter that shouldn't be playing. So they definitely need to get a starting pitcher or two at the trade deadline, and then they can make it.
Yeah, well, let's take 1 minute. Morgan, Amy, is there any questions we need to address? I see you, Sherpa, we can get you help. So reach out to marketing. Kelsey will help you on the question on the emails out of you, Sherpa. We'll definitely, and there is a recording on this. So Stephanie, that'll come out and everybody can listen to it again. But my big takeaway for everybody on the call, 10 calls to your past clients, 10 realtor calls, your life will change. And if you get really aggressive and you want to be the best of the best, 100 calls a day, incredible. Tyler, any parting words as we sign off? You were amazing. And I love your obsessive neuroses. I'm right here with you.
Yes. No, yeah. Yeah, I am a very type A organized person who's very regimented, and you would think I'm like a military kid, but I'm not because everything I have to do has to be scheduled and planned, and if I
Yeah.
vary from it, it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
But I guess my biggest thing would be is I don't know what the true numbers are right now, but what is it? 60% of loan officers have gone out of business in the last 3 years, or
Oh yeah,
70% of loan
I'll
officers?
give you the numbers. COVID in 2021, there were
Yep.
400,000 loan officers. Because I remember we were training up every newbie on the planet.
Yep.
Uh, Now this year we'll end up 95,000, and they're projecting 60,000 in 2026. So huge opportunity,
So that's
huge.
what I would say is the opportunity is insane. And then number two, if you're on this call, you made it.
You
You're
made it.
like, yeah, like you're here. That was the big, like, I think it was two sales rallies ago. Was it Barry Habib was at a sales rally with us, and he goes, "Congratulations, you made it." Like, because at that point, all these people, like, if you're still in the business, that means you've made it. And if you've
Right.
made it, that means you have what it takes. And if you have what it takes, there's going to be an unbelievable amount of business that's going to close in the next couple of
Yes.
years as soon as everything turns. And there are
Yeah.
so many fewer loan officers that the realtors are going to need someone to work with. And there's a
Right.
lot of past customers out there whose loan officers don't do business anymore. They're gone
Yes.
and they need to
Yeah.
refinance when the rates go down.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. Well, thank you. You're
Yeah.
marvelous, Taylor.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Cassandra, you're marvelous. And thank you for sharing your wisdom, your consistency, your work ethic. Now I want to just kind of see all the tattoo situation when I see you. So just know that's going to be an ask.
Yeah.
So
That's all good.
yeah, thank you guys so much and appreciate you. And let's go start being consistent and making those calls. Everybody have a great rest of the day.
See you.